till now we had been studying about the network layer in which it was responsible for your host-to-host delivery from source to destination, right? The next layer, which will be this is part of the unit 4, we'll be discussing about is your transport layer. Okay, once we've seen like your network layer is responsible for making your packet go from the source to destination, right? Once it has reached the destination, we have to decide that this particular packet is for which process, right? Because at both the systems, there are number of processes which are executing, right? So the transport layer responsible is for, it is responsible for your process to process delivery. That is, you have to deliver the data packet. It is meant for which process, right? Here, whatever will be starting in your process to process communication, right? Because in client side also there will be a number of processes which are executing, and similarly on on your source side also there will be a number of applications which will be running, right? There's a number of processes which are running. So we need to identify that this data packet is meant for which process, right? It is the responsibility of your transport layer for it is responsible for your process to process delivery, right? This is like your end to end delivery. You have to decide that this is meant for which particular process. All right, so here as you can see, these are the different layers. They have got their own responsibility. Your network layer is responsible for your host to host delivery. That is from your system source to your destination. You have to send this data packet, right? The layer which is responsible for hop to hop delivery is your data link layer. Okay, you have to decide from this link to next link how we will be sending the data packet to reach the destination, right? And once it has reached the destination, the layer which is responsible for deciding for which process this particular data packet is your transport layer. Okay, this is responsible for your this is responsible for your process to process delivery. All right, so here you can see there is a daytime client and there's an application, same daytime, which may be returning the particular date, right? This is your client, this is your server, right? This application, now every application is associated with a port number, okay? Every application runs a particular port number. And whenever we have to send the request to the server, right, we need to specify that this particular packet is for which application. Right, this is identified with the help of port numbers. Right, now since this there are on server side, there will be a number of applications running. Right, for client, it has to know. It should know that this particular packet is for which application. Right, for that it needs to know that this application is running on which port. Okay, so on server side we have a number of well-known ports, right? These well every for your client to send your data packet to your server, right? It should be knowing which port number, destination port number this process is running on, and you have to send your data packet there, right? At the same time, you also need to specify your own port number, right? So whenever you need to send your application, your packet from one process to the other process for that delivery, right? You need to mention your port number. Each application is each process is running on a particular port number, right? So for using the functionalities of your transport layer, right, the client itself will define itself with a port number, and this port number can be any randomly chosen by your transport layer software running, right? So this is known as your ephemeral port number. This 52000 is any one of the port numbers in the range of 0 to 65535 is assigned to your client. And then it is sent over your transport layer, right? With the functionalities of your transport layer, it is sent to the server, right? On server, you have to specify which particular application you are, which particular process you want to send your data packet to. And all this is happening in your client server paradigm. All right, this communication happens on a client server base. The client sends a request, right, in which it will be placing its data. Request data will be there. It will be mentioning its own port number, and then this port number is used to identify that among all the processes which are running on your destination, which particular process this request is for, right? So this way your packet reaches your destination. You may going to mention your own port number, which is any one of the ephemeral port numbers assigned by your system, right? And you also have a universal set of port numbers for the servers. These are known as your well-known port numbers, right? And why they are known as well-known port numbers? Because for client to use the services of your server, it should know that this process is running on which port, right? Only then it will be able to identify. Just like you need to know the destination IP address for network layer, here we need to know what is the destination port number, right? Like the address, you can say the transport layer address, the address which is used at your transport layer is known as your पोर्ट नंबर, राइट? जैसे आपका नेटवर्क लेयर पे आईपी एड्रेस रहता है, वैसे ही ट्रांसपोर्ट लेयर पे जिससे आपके प्रोसेस को आइडेंटिफाई करा जाता है वो आपका प्रोसेस नंबर रहता है. Suppose we have a client system, right? It has to send your this is the IP address, and right, your this is the destination IP address, and you've also mentioned the destination port number, right? These two combined will be able to will be responsible for your end-to-end delivery, right? They will be seeing that your packet reaches the identified process, right? So you mention your destination IP address, and also you mention its port number, right? So at network layer, your IP address will be matched, right? This will be sent once it reaches your correct destination. Then the port number will be used to identify this is for which particular process which is running on this particular IP address. Okay, then we have a set of IP addresses ranges, right? Not sorry, not IP addresses, the port numbers, which are the address at your transport layer, right? Your Internet Assigned Number Authority (IANA), right, has divided the port numbers into three ranges. You have your well-known port numbers, you have your registered port numbers, and then you have your dynamic ports. Well-known port numbers are in the range of 0 to 1023, right? They are assigned and they are controlled by INA, right? So whenever you should, all the processes which are running on the server side, they are given a well-known port number. Like example, if you have your web application, mostly web applications run on port number 8080, right? So one of these port numbers will be, you should be knowing, like if you want to use that web application, you should mention the port number as 80, right? Then you have your registered ports, which are in the range of 1024 to 49151. So they're not assigned or controlled by INA. You're allowed to register with INA to prevent duplication. And then you have your dynamic ports, which are neither controlled nor registered, right? They can be used by any process. Like in this client side, you have your ephemeral port numbers. Your operating system is what it is going to do, simply assign one of the port numbers to your particular client request, right? And then it will be sent to the server, right? But on server side, you need to know the port number associated with the process. Only then you can invoke you can only use the services provided by your transport layer, right? So as we see here, like we need to identify the difference between IP address and the port numbers. Once your data packet, right, through your traveling through different networks with the help of your IP address, it reaches your destination network, right? You have to see if it is meant for this IP address. Once the IP address matches, next what you have to do, out of one on this system, out of this system, for which process it is, because there'll be n number of processes running on this system, right? So this data packet is for say process which is running on port number 13. So it will, this data packet is going to be delivered here, right? And for process to process delivery, we need to take care of two things. What are the two things? One is your IP address and the other is your port number. These two combined, they form your socket address. Your combination of IP address and port number is your socket address. तो आपकी process to process delivery के लिए कि आपकी correctly data packet client process से server process तक पहुंचे, हमें उसको identify करने के लिए socket address की जरूरत पड़ती है, which is a combination of your IP address and port number, right? IP address is used to identify this is meant for which host, right? And on that host there will be number of processes running. Your port number helps us to identify this is meant for which particular process, right? So your transport layer is responsible for your process to process delivery. That is, once your data packet with the help of its IP address reaches the destination, at destination you to check it is meant for which process, right? And then there is this concept of multiplexing and demultiplexing. Multiplexing in the sense that at server side there will be a number of processes, right, that need to send the data packet. Now the transport layer at any time will be selecting one of these processes to for delivering of the data packet from your source to destination, right? So this is your many to one relation. There will be many processes. Out of the many processes, you have to select one process and send it over to your source, right? And to your server, right? And at server side also there will be several processes which are running. So once your data packet resides at your server side, what you need to check that this is meant for which particular process. So there's this mapping of one to many, right? One packet has arrived. You have to decide of all the processes, this is meant for which particular process. So this is your one to many relationship which is occurring at the server side. So there you will be needing a demultiplexer to decide it is meant for which particular process. So this is the working of your uh, transport layer, right? And before going into the services which are provided by a transport layer, we need to understand there are two types of services. One is your connectionless and the other is your connection-oriented service, right? Connectionless service means that there's your data packet, right? It has to when it has to reach from your source to destination, right? Before sending the data packet, we do not need to establish any connection, right? There's no step of connection establishment, then sending the data packet and then connection release. There's nothing like that in connection-less services, right? The data packets are not numbered, they may be lost, they may be delayed, they may reach out of sequence, or there may be no acknowledgement number, right? So in connectionless, just the data packets are sent without the need of any connection establishment or connection release. In case of connection-oriented services, right, the other services which are at transport layer is a connection-oriented services. Connection-oriented services mean that you have to first establish the connection between the sender and the receiver, the data are transferred, and at the end you have to release that connection, right? So the connection-less services when we talk about, we'll be seeing the UDP protocol, right? And then we coming to your connection oriented services, then you have your TCP and your SCTP protocols, right? Then there's this concept of reliability and unreliability. Now you know that your network layer, it is just responsible for your best in effort delivery, right? It is not seeing for any lost packets or frames or anything of that sort, right? So and if you need reliability in the sense that you need to see that your packet has arrived at your receiver in proper way or not. If you need reliability, then you need to combine your, if your application, right, the application which is making the use, is making the use of your, so using the services of your transport and the network layer, right? If it requires reliability, then since network layer is not responsible, it is like a connectionless, unreliable protocol, your IP protocol, right? So we need to combine your, you need to, if you need reliability, then at transport layer, we have an option of adding the reliability in the form of that you can make use of your TCP protocol, because TCP protocol gives you, it is your connection oriented and reliable protocol. So with combination of your TCP protocol at transport layer, right, you will be able to provide reliability and in a connection oriented way. And this is the reason you have your TCP IP suite, right, where network layer at using your IP protocol does not provide you with your it does not provide you with reliability. But if you need reliability, then at transport layer, there is a mechanism where your flow and error control will be seen to, right? It will be catered to, right? So for that case, you can use your connection oriented services and the reliable services which are provided by a transport layer in the form of your TCP and SCTP connection oriented reliable protocols, right? In case of you do not need reliability, you're okay with the service, just like your IP layer, right? Like your network layer, if you're okay with your best effort delivery, maybe example, maybe like your video or audio calling, in that case, maybe you do not that message is not that important. Even if a few packets or anything is lost, it is a possibility. It does not affect the overall conversation, right? So in that case, you can make use of your U2P protocol. So for you have your connectionless and connection oriented services. If you require reliability at because the layer below it, network layer, is not providing you with reliability or any connection oriented way. But if your application layer needs reliability, then you can make use of your transport layer protocol, which is your TCP and SCTP protocols, right? So maybe in next class we will be discussing these two protocols. One is your UDP, that is user datagram protocol, and the other one is your, which is UDP is your connection uh, less and unreliable protocol, right? While your TCP is your connection oriented protocol. Right. So we'll be discussing about the header datagrams for TCP, UDP, like what is the functionality. UDP is a very simple protocol. Nothing is there. Simply a data packet you have a queue maintained at your client and server side, and whatever packets are coming for that particular application, they're placed in the respective queue. Right. TCP protocol, since it is providing to you with reliability and connection oriented. So there are a number of steps in it where you first need to establish the connection, they need to send the data packet, they need to release the connection, right? So there are a number of steps. You have your three-way handshaking, which we'll be seeing in your TCP protocol. So maybe we'll discuss these two transport layer protocols in next class. All right. Thank you.